Hello everyone, I am Manoj and I am responsible for Infor WMS practice. Thank you and a warm welcome to all of you who have joined this call. I hope that all of you find this time spent worthwhile at the end of the session. We are from Godrej Infotech, a part of Godrej Group of companies. Godrej having 120 plus years of experience, GITL has an experience of more than 25 years, rendering multiple solution support to customers across the globe. There are participants in this webinar from across the globe, and I am overwhelmed with the response. Thank you once again. I would like to introduce my colleague, Mr. Chetan Dedia, who is having an experience of more than 25 plus years in this industry, and he will present the application and more importantly, share his experiences with us. This will be a total of 1 hour session. The last 15 minutes will be for question and answers, which will be selected from the chat box. Hence, I request all of you to type your questions in the chat box along with your name. We will try to address those questions at the end of our session, for which we have kept 15 minutes. Thank you once again, and I hand over to Chetan to take us through the rest of the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Good afternoon, everyone.
Chetan, I think you are on mute.
Hello. So, where did I, should I go back again? From where did I miss out?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Chetan, you can start from the beginning because we missed out the agenda.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So, I'll be just talking about briefly about warehousing and supply chain execution, and then move towards the product and talk about its capabilities, the feature functions, and of course, and share my experiences in this field. Talking about warehouse and supply chain execution, we are into business of supply chain and distribution. So supply chain and distribution, this entire logistics landscape is primarily for serving the end customer. The goods have to reach the end customer. We need to fulfill the customer's needs, the consumer needs. And as you can see over here, the important aspect of this logistics is the warehouse. So at these, you can see at the point where it's been at the farmer, the source, at the farmer or factory, you have a warehouse. It's something called as the production warehouse, where it is storing and processing raw materials and then converting into a finished good to, again, that finished good moving to something called as a distribution warehouse, and going more closer towards the customer. So there from the distribution center, it would again go to a fulfillment center, and so on. It would, go through these retail stores and reach to the customers. So a very important part, role is played by a warehouse. So what exactly is a warehouse? What does it do? So warehouses are typically a storage, an inventory storage facility. And what it does is it will store, it will feed the production line where there is a factory going on. And also it would make sure that the finished good is also, dispatched to a customer. So the primarily a warehouse is to receive an inventory stock and then process it and dispatch it further to the customer. Now, to manage such an activity, you need a WMS. So for WMS, it's a software. It's a product. It's a software application, that will automate all the manual activity of a warehousing. So it would manage the day-to-day operation by centralizing the task and tracking the inventory levels and when it comes to not just the inventory, there is the space, there are people involved, the labor, the equipment. So all these, it has to ensure that the storage and the handling and the movement is accurately done. So that's a WMS, a warehouse management system. So what is the supply chain execution? We're talking about an WMS, but we're talking about a supply chain execution. Now it's kind of the WMS, but an enhanced WMS to fulfill a better requirement of these warehouses. Now traditionally, as you can see, a warehouse would be just to hold and store inventory, but the challenges are coming up. More and more challenges are coming, and then there's a mix of inventory assortments. There is different sources where the orders are coming in. So there's this involvement of mix of products, and to again bring in all these manual cut down the manual activity and bring in an automation to smoother and have an accurate and a faster system, faster operation. So it's a layer again on the top of a WMS. An enhanced WMS is a supply chain execution system. Now, here is why you need one of the biggest reason is why you need an execution and an advanced execution system is these the kind of challenges which are coming today. Where you can see there are channels. Initially there were just single channels. Now we are talking about multiple channels, cross channels to omni channels. One customer is throwing in, pushing in orders through different modes and different, whether it be a mobile device or from store, and a mix of the a person sitting in store and using a mobile device to place an order. So all a mix of these orders being pushed to the warehouse to fulfill. So one is the push of all these orders, and now we are talking about it's not the orders are not just a bulk orders. They could be eaches, small single line items. We are talking about different packaging units. So when it comes to a stock, it could be a case, a pallet, eaches and totes to mixed pallet. So all this different kind of packaging that is required, different units which is coming in and being dispatched to the customer. All it's a mix that a warehouse distribution or fulfillment center needs to cater. And of course, there is a lot of the returns which comes in too. So let's just quickly look at the the feature functions of an Infor supply chain execution. And you can see over here why we are talking about Infor SCE. Here's the big numbers. We have 1,000+ customers using Infor SCE, 4,000+ installations to 40+ countries. Now that's a big number. All this big number, and Infor SCE also, and the second time in a row, is gone into Hall of Fame, into the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So it's a leader. It's a leader and a best-in-class product. Now here's what is more important. As you can see over here, Infor SC's got all the packaging that it requires, the power to cater to these verticals. This is just few of the verticals, industries that it caters to, but it's power packed. It's power packed with features and functions. Now, say for example, if there is a 3PL, the 3PL, there are these multiple customers in one facility. So it's all mix of owners and mix of products that needs to be handled separately and managed through, so that they are not mixed together. And then there is this, when it comes to 3PL, it requires a lot of the storage and transactional information and movement that you got to have a provider billing to. So we have a kind of a third-party billing to. When it comes to 3PL, so there is ownership again being transferred, and there's a lot of value-added services that they require to be fulfilled, whether it be a packaging or additional which is being required. And talking about the something similar to food and pharma, where they require temperature control and expiry. It's got temperature controls to shelf life, management. Needs to see where the products, the expired products, are not being moved out of the facility, and being important, all these functions, facilities being available, whether it be as I said, temperature control to a lot of cross docking these items for faster dispatches, because it's food. You got to make sure there's not a mix of food and non-food. And apart from that, there are a lot of these checks and validations about where you can be an MRP or price perspective. So all these are the aspects being built in to make these readily enabled. So whether it be a pharma or a food or retail, and we talk about electronics. You need a serialized tracking and tracing and end-to-end, so that it's all batch control, and there is a traceability available of which batches are moving around and going to the customer, and because you got to also cater to recalls. Talking about the bigger picture, also about fashion. Now, fashion again, it's all about size, color, style. So it's all a mix, a lot of a mix of these attributes, and a mix of a packaging unit. So they could be sold in a 3-piece, in a single piece, or in a bulk. So a lot of these variable units of a measure, UOM, are all being handled in WMS. This is again to give you a very good comfort, Now big names are using Infor SCE, whether it be Honda, Ford, to whether it be automotive or manufacturing, Sony to Johnson and Johnson, and so all you can have a good look at these big names, that would give you a lot of comfort. Even in say food and beverages and retail, whether it be a B2B or a B2C, these are the big names, using Infor SE, and these are just some of the customers, and these are just some of the verticals in industry where we're using this. So. And here's a big picture. Now here's a big picture now, over 200 3PL customers. So these are all big names, and so they all are in for SEE. Talking about technology now, that's what is important, where it has to meet the technology standards and have that scalability. So the options available is whether you have this solution as a standalone or on-premise, and even there's a cloud suite which is available. So a web-based, cloud-based solution being available and scalable enough to have a lot of these multiple warehouses facilities being added into, whether it be a centralized or a distributed system that would be required. And of course, when you're talking about global presence, so definitely our multiple language support is also readily available. Talking about databases, of course, it is the popular database like Oracle or SQL. These are the common, very popular, which that it supports readily, and many more, of course. These are the readily plug and play kind of which is available. Now, here's what would build up the interest. We are talking about new generation. We are talking about how things have to be integrated, how things have to be, should have the plugging points. So here there is a lot of these, the operating system, the background that it already has some pre-built support. It's a network talking to a production controller system, to a forklift and laser guided, or conveyor, to sorters, to ASRS, different types of ASRS, and RFID too. So all this is kind of which really gives you that kind of comfort, where yes, now everything is being talked about automation. And so that's what it's all been made readily kind of available at the background, at the its core structure being made ready for next generation. Adding, and now what happens is at the background, but at the forefront, the consumer, the customer, the user, whoever is using the application has to have that comfort. So here, it's all enriched. And what is important these days is not just the browsers, standalone, web browsers. There's something called as an HTML5 support, which the user can use the same application using a mobile device to or a browser and different devices. So it supports even an handheld. So all this has become now those old age black and white. It has become more colorful, and yet so light and very easy to use, very user friendly. So we're talking about being enriched with context, giving a mobility and social collaboration. So now these are the add-ons which have also enriched the product. Talking about collaboration, so here's the Infor Mingle. So Infor WMS SE can easily talk to the Infor line of products, and which is again very important, having a nice tightly integration between the multiple Infor family products, where we say, for example, using Infor Mingle. Now, Infor Mingle is for collaboration. It's like a collaboration tool, talking to, let me give you an example. And Mingle. So you can see over here, different departments can talk to each other. The IT help desk, the production line talking to the warehouse, talking, if there is some problem with a batch, some, which needs to be stopped or fixed or something, they can easily communicate with each other. A production guy can directly talk to, everybody can talk over here and share documents, share information. Uh, that's how they would be able to easily collaborate. A warehouse guy talking to a production guy, also, finance guy or an IT guy, you all can come together and, collectively manage the day-to-day operation. Now, here's the Infor OS that gives you the power. Now, this is the layer, that's the platform where everybody is sitting, in Infor WMS, and these are the ready plug-in points which are available. Now, we're talking about, say, Infor Ion. Infor Ion is the integration tool, which will not just integrate popular ERPs, host systems to WMS, but also it can talk and have built a communication channel between multiple, equipments to, various two different, any two disparate system. So it can do that. So that's the one of the integration tool Infor Ion, and we have something like, say, Mingle that we just saw in IoTs. So all these are the plugin points which are readily the APIs being available that can support, and you can use multiple application at an enterprise level. Say Coleman. So Coleman is in Alexa of Infor. So all these analytics to these giving all these Infor document, sharing all the documents across, and have a management Infor IDM as a whole. So all this is being plumbing points are readily available and already integrated. And here's the snapshot of a complete, this is what the complete unified solution is. So Infor SCE, it comprises of not just the WMS, but it's got the LMS labor management, and especially, a 3PL billing for 3PL customers. Transport also is kind of part of it, but that's kind of US specific, but they have moved into a bigger, better transport solution. So here you can see the, just the entire unified. It's all about tightly integrated and ready to use, whether it be a voice or RF or UI. So all these, are tightly integrated, and they can talk to each other. Now here's the feature functions that can talk about. So not just the every feature functions WMS is, every time it's evaluated, it's evolved and it's been enhanced. So even if we are talking about common functions like receiving and put away, but there is more all the time. All the releases they enhance it. So there are many multiple options being built in every time. Talking about not just these common feature functions, but there is something called as, slotting. There's the dynamic slotting based on certain, the velocity of a product. So system you can do a manual or an automatic slotting, which is available in there's the visual warehouse. We'll be seeing what is a visual warehouse. So all this is a snapshot, and further down, this we can look in a little detail. So this is the feature function wall, which is kind of available. It's just some of the things, and of course it's being kind of more enhanced, and a lot of things which are still more available. Now here's the things. Now as we move, we'll be able to get the feel of how it is so readily easy to use, and how you can quickly onboard a customer. You have something called as an expanded import and export facility using an Excel. So it can be a standalone complete system, an enterprise or an individual system, just using the export templates, creating documents and masters. So all this, which is part of something we call as the implementation accelerators, which makes it so easy to have a new customer onboarded very quickly, especially of course when it's a 3PL, when there's too many customers, different types of customers coming in. So easy to use, easy to set up, and very rich. And it's got these views readily available on the screen itself. You just enter and it shows you on the screen with these and of course giving you the basic configuration, very easy to configure and view things. Now, these are the important things which is the system has to support is as we are moving is being the voice support. It readily supports voice or RF handle devices. This is the 2D barcode, as you can see, QR code being used everywhere these days. So these are device ready system. And there's a lot of paperwork. Which is involved. So you need different types of formats for labels, for a packing list or manifest report to label designs. Now this is quite easy. There are these tools which are available, easy to create, easy to maintain, easy to print, with an additional support of images too. So even an image can be incorporated and being printed. Now these are the add-ons. Which a product should have, an application should have, is the freedom to be able to create these forms, readily forms. Now you can see over here, it's very easy to design a screen, modify a screen, and you don't require a Java code to be touched. It's just all these are available in the product itself, so you can easily configure the screen options and as per the users or as per certain customers. So easy to create screens, easy to create forms. Like say for example, you can create at the UI at the browser, you can create a form and you can build some easy validations, quick validations. If you want to have a vendor which is mandatory or certain information which is required, so that those can be easily configured over onto the screen by any user, of course, with the rights, with the role and the proper rights. We be able to configure these things. So that's what adds up the ease to cater, to these customer needs all the time. Reports are very important. So these again, building up these reports are so easy. It's already, using the power of a BERT reporting tool. So that's very easy to use. An IT person, IT team, IT help desk. It can also create, after the short training, can create reports on its own. So easy to build reports. Now here's what would catch up the interest is about having a view, a 3D view. So it's like this is a 3D warehouse viewer, which will give you an entire view of the entire warehouse. A warehouse where you would be able to see not just the stock, but also you could easily view the travel sections and identify, okay, where are these my slowness, my bottlenecks. When you enable the labor management module, it would help you to trace down and see the monitor and give you a real on the screen, an entire 3D view to an extent that if there is, say, there are these color codes. So if the stock is going below the required level, it would be red. So all the color codification being available, and you can see, view it, and decide. The one who is supervisor or at a level can easily view, assign task, and so this gives that total control of the warehouse virtually. Quickly, just these regular processes and what are the new functions, features available. The inbound. So primarily WMS has got the inbound process and outbound process and inventory management. So inbound, again, this is the common way where the scheduling has been done. Appointments are being created. So all these also is part of the feature list. Is that it's got its very nice yard management and appointment scheduling. So all these receiving or QC, quality checks, to dispositions of these quality controls, and also these multiple options of put away. So here's the when it comes to receiving, as you can see, there are these multiple ways of receiving, whether it be a workstation or RF web. These are the HTML5 benefits of having multiple devices to do the receipts of the good. And whether it be the receipts, not just the options of receipt, but what is important is there are multiple options, whether you want to do each piece, or you want to receive in cartons, you want to receive in pallets, and so all these are the multiple kind of options being available for ease of handling the daily operation. So put away, again, as there is this logic, there is this pre-built, lot of these pre-built logic being available, where the system will guide the user where to go, whether it has to go to the QC area for the damage or good or bad. And system, user does not need to do anything. System has got this predefined logic build where they can be guided to go to those bins, whether it be a reserve area or QC. All this movement is been easily be done by a pre-built engine for designed for put away. This is, again, kind of very much required. It's got it's very rich enough to handle something called as a cross-dock, because cross-dock is essential. A lot of times you want to save the movement, you want to save and do it faster dispatches, because this will cross-dock will cut down these the storage activity, and this will ensure that it is easily being moved, the pre kind of packed or pre-wrapped, pre-packed is all easily moved to the next destination, to the customer's destination. So there's these different options. There'd be a flow through where it will distribute automatically based on different stores. Or you have the opportunistic. So opportunistic is like when you have orders, and then it'll wait and it'll see if there's something coming in as a receipt. So as soon as the receipt is coming, the stock is coming, it will automatically allocate to these orders. So these are like very, very handy and very quick enough. Transship it's kind of an hub. So you have your warehouses and hub and easy movement and in and out from one vehicle to another vehicle. Talking about outbound process, again, very important, because as we've seen that there is a mix of customers, mix of orders, mix of everything. Now here, what is you need is a very strong an outbound available facility available, feature functions available, like right from doing in a bulk way, something called as a wave generation, to consolidation based on the certain routes and batches, and giving you a different picking and packing options, whether it be voice or RF, generating labels and pick labels to. An important part of the daily activity is the replenishments being triggered whenever there is a low of inventory and there is an order waiting. So replenishment and all these back-to-back system is continuously rising, making it easy for the user to just carry on the daily activity. Like as you can see over here, 20 options, different options of picking. There is unlimited options for a warehouse guy to play around. Whether it be paper, is still the old paper picks to label picks, RF and directed or voice or single order, multiple orders, wave generation is a dynamic way, cluster batch. Multiple ways of picking and shipping. Yes, the loading the planning is very important. That's the when it comes to the managing and feeding the transport. So the load, it has to be kind of facility be available where there is a multiple shipments to be, because the orders are for the customers are daily orders or weekly orders. So all that planning and the vehicles. So all this is available when you want to schedule it or plan a load according to the number of orders or number of quantity based on quantity based or route based. So all this is being easily available to make a smoother dispatches. Here's the core. Here's the core of everything. Is the inventory, because the inventory has to be in sync. It has to be available as a visibility, as a traceability in sense of lot management, a batch control, a serialized tracking, end-to-end tracking, expiries to all this has to be a part of the inventory, and to manage that inventory, a regular counting activity, or a kind of a physical, in a yearly kind of physical counting too. So all this is required now. Even a cycle count process has got multiple options. You want to do a mix, how you want to mix it up, and you want to ensure the operations are running and the inventory is in parallelly in sync. So all this is being available to even replenishment, as we talked about. There is this lot of inventory movement in terms of transfers from owner to owner, different owners, and you want to kit things up. So inventory plays a very critical role, and there it's the Infor SC ensures that it's all accurate and easy to tightly secured and easy to move these inventory as per the different attributes. Here comes the labor management and 3PL billing, which is again the WMS, and this is again one of the critical part of an Infor SCE suite is the labor management and 3PL billing. When we talk about labor management, here what is critical is there's a resource which is being in used. Now that again, the new generation warehouses have not just machines, but also humans which are driving the entire operation, and then they need to be kind of need to be tracked, measured, and that labor force needs to be planned accordingly basis on the shifts and their times. So a tool is required, a management system is required, and this is an engine which is already pre-built, and it runs at the background, taking the information from WMS all the information, the transactional information, the master's information, and then we would be able to measure, provide the measurements. So what it does is, as we saw, that's an execution system. So there's a lot of execution goes on by the WMS, and you need to really then calculate using the LMS that how much did the employee took the time or to do certain tasks, and how they can do things better, and accurately. So you really want to measure and improve and then standardized and ensure that you're optimizing, regularly optimizing to bring up that efficiency. So, what is LMS will give you all the answers that, okay, what is the capacity of the workforce and where they should be focused. So now that information would then be kind of useful for planning. Now, this is how it works. There's a standards. So how does it work? So there is these pre-built, logic with the standards which are readily available. So if I need to do a picking task, the standard is that it should take less than, it should take around 10 seconds or 20 seconds. So that's my standard. And then I can, these are all pre-built standards. And then basis on activation, then you will be able to, when you activate it, the user will be able to we see, on the screen itself, what is its best timing, the best performance that has been given. Okay, this is the task I need to pick in 10 seconds, 20 seconds. So how did I perform? So the information can be made available to the user, or it is there in the background for the analysis. So what is the distance? So there are these many aspects, standardization, whether it be travel distance, whether it be the task, whether you want to lift a focus of forklift lifting a pallet, to movement, to travel, to putting it down, to so all this is the breakdown of the task is available as a standard. And basis on the standard, then you got to do the planning, and then you can assign these tasks, whether a weekly task or daily task, and then you can assign. You can get a view of what is the volume of work, what are the based on the historical data, you can see how much are the what are the calculations, the time being taken, estimates, so manual time being taken, and the user scheduling. User coming in, so you can assign those tasks to the picker or user. This again is very handy when you talk about time and attendance. Time and attendance is part of it, where you want to capture the daily attendance, and you want to know how much time they have clocked in, and you want if you're going to pay by the hours, number of hours. It will help you to also have a one common system to capture time and attendance. So this is also a part which is available in LMS, which will give you, okay, this is what is being checked in and check out, and what was the payments, the calculations, so the payments that need to be done. So based on the activity, so it'll give you a total kind of a timesheet basis on the kind of task performed and the payments. The billing that needs to be done. So here's the reporting. Now that's what is key. That's key, because you need to, that's what it, there's the, talk about reports. There are around, 200 pre-built reports, out of which even, labor also would have somewhere around 30, 40 labor reports. And that is what is critical, very useful when you want to, see it at the productivity level, the performance, the cost, not just at the local warehouse schema level, but at the enterprise. So at a total enterprise level, you can get a complete view of all your warehouses. So These reports I was talking about is not just a local individual schema. There is a lot of plenty available at the enterprise where you want to see have a view of all your warehouses. Enterprise reports, facility reports, and audit. Yeah, that's the audit. The breakdown on costs and per hour. So 3PL billing. Now that's again very key for a 3PL company where they need to really charge. Now they need to charge for storage or for some labor or a transaction or pieces in a quantity based. So there are these multiple ways 3PL would work, and they would like to know what is the basis on all these transactions. They need to charge. They need to have a kind of an invoice generated saying that, okay, here's the bill. Here's what is been billed for, say, for a month or for a certain period of time. So all this is kind of these engines pre-built, so that feed is WMS is constantly feeding LMS, constantly feeding 3PL. So all that information goes, and they can churn out and bring in those easy to do invoicing and send those things through email, attach it straight away. So attach this and send it as an email, or have an integration with an ERP or a finance system, financial system. So all that is kind of readily available. Oh, that's what ends this. This was a quick one to do. I hope that I've kind of covered what is the kind of essence of the Infor SCE and how it is kind of power packed. Thank you.
So we can have the question and answer session for it now. If there are some question and answers, you can just post it out. There are few questions which being asked by the few of the colleagues over here. So I'm just addressing them for them. The first one is being asked that whether it can be support a QR code or not. Yes, it can. It can be supported with the QR or a 2D barcode scanning. The next question which came in, it's from anonymous, stating that whether we can support and track shipments on Google Map. This, as a tracking of shipments, is more related to a transportation. So if you add on with a product of transportation management system, this is possible. But as an alone WMS, it's not. There is one more question which is coming from Sonak, stating that it's whether it's a data-driven or a data-driven supply or a reactive. It's a data-driven supply chain strategy. Susan, I guess your question is already answered now. Can we have, do we have any more Q&A on the sales? There is one more question. That's state that whether we can use a color code to distinguish item base on item group. Yes, you can do it. You can identify as an item different codes within a particular items, stating on a particular low tables whether it's what color it will be, and it can be identified within item group. So,
Okay, there is one
do
more
we have
question
any?
on which supply chain model is followed. So basically what we mean by that question, if I have understood rightly, is it for apparels, food or 3PL? So basically it can address any of the requirements that are specifically required for a warehouse management is possible in this application. So this system is capable, like my colleague mentioned about lotables or the put away or strategies that you can define. So based on these strategies, you can have apparels, food, electronics, pharma, all items can be defined in the system.
Even just to
Anyway,
add to that answer is you can have a B2B or B2C model as well when we talk about which model we are talking about.
so any other questions you have? Because whatever questions we received, we have tried to answer them. In case you have any further questions, you can type the questions along with your name on the right hand side on the chat box. We also have the email ID mentioned on the slide over here. So in case you have any queries after this also, you can send it to infotech@godrej.com. We'll be happy to reply to you. Yeah, Karan?
We received one more question that's asking whether the RFIDs are supported by WMS. Yes, it is supported. The another question is from Prabhakar, which asking whether it can be integrated with supplier exchange. Yes, Prabhakar, it can be integrated with the use of Infor Ion or Infor OS, which is being displayed in the slide. You can integrate with any system or any third-party applications. Yes, there is one anonymous question which is being asked whether it can be integrated with warehouse 3PL. Yes, it can be. As stated in the initial slides where the Infor Ion OS integration was being talked out, it can be used as a warehouse automation system to integrate with 3PL, like it's always being stated at a conveyor or ejector things. Like you can do it as an automation, sorting, PTL. Ashok, there is one question been asked by Ashok that is there an option for unloading and loading process? Yes, Ashok, there is an option. Like if you talk about how much vehicles are unloaded from a dock, that's a quite specific question, which is based on a different business to business and different models. Where if as a process, if you see that okay, with a particular how many docks which are using or how many yard area he's having for a loading and unloading process, accordingly it's varies. There is no particular answer to that.
And also you can define the vehicle schedules, the incoming vehicles. And the moment you define the schedules, you can also have a proper planning of the vehicles.
Yes, Ashok, as Ashok is also asking another question related to volumetric dimensional integration. Yes, it can be done.
So no more questions are coming. So I would like to thank everybody for their time and hope this session was fruitful for you. Chetan with his experience shared a lot of his thoughts and what this application can do for you. Hopefully this session helped you. And like I mentioned earlier, in case you have any questions, please feel free to send it to us and we'll try to answer it. Thank you once again for your time.
Manoj,
Yeah,
we received one more question in the last moment. There was some anonymous has asked this question. Is it readily available with Infor LN ERP? See, it's as a standard set of Infor, it is available, but as a Godrej Infotech, we have also set up a complete set of LN ERP Infor LN as well as WMS integration with respect to integration, which can be fitted up with different clients as per their expectations, and with WMS. Is it available? Yeah, thank you. Yes, Manoj, please.
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time and look forward to serving you in future. Thanks a lot.